Keep hugging or break the hug. How the fuck should I know? If it was Sayori, I would obviously keep hugging. If it was Yuri, I would keep hugging. If it was Monika, I wouldn't really break the hug, but I wouldn't do it too long. I guess I'll just keep hugging. I'm sure she'll pull away when she wants to. Yeah, right? I give NATSUKI my embrace. She really does go out of her way to make herself cute. As cute as possible. Suddenly I feel NATSUKI pull away from me. What is it? Nothing. Nothing at all. NATSUKI's barely able to hide her grin as she's barely able to look at me. Thanks for finding it, Mark. No problem. We stand there awkwardly for a moment, neither of us sure of what to do next. I would offer to continue the hug, but it seems the magic of the moment has fleeted. Hey, Mark? Yeah? Can you promise me not to tell any of the others that what I was saying earlier? About how you saved up so much money to get that? NATSUKI merely nods. I mean, I'm not gonna tell anyone, but you didn't need to go that far to get this, NATSUKI. No offense, Mark, but you really don't understand what my life is like. You never really did give me the full picture. I'll give you a summary. If I ever want anything for myself, it costs an arm and a leg. But that's so freaking selfish. It's not like we're tight on money or anything. In fact, we're decently well off. He spends it all on himself. He barely sees me as his own child. Just some nuisance he has to deal with for at least 2 more years. Okay, so she's 16. Okay. That makes sense because I always said that she looked 15. So that is pretty accurate. Because I guess the age... No, actually, no. It isn't the age of consent in Japan. Google. What is the age of consent in Japan? Because I believe that it was like earlier than in Europe. Because in Europe it's 18. Well, at least in... I don't know. In the Netherlands it's 18 at least. 18 for pretty much everything. Alcohol... Well, you can drive when you are 16, but if you can get your driver's license when you are 16, but you can only drive with someone who has been driving for at least 2 years as your passenger until you are 18, and then you can just drive wherever. But yeah, you need to be 18 to have sex, you need to be 18 to drink alcohol, and all that type of stuff. 18 to vote. 18 to do pretty much anything except driving a car. You can get your at least your theoretical exam on the age of 16, and then once you're 17, by that time you will have had your you would have passed. Then you can only drive with a passenger who has been driving for at least 2 years or something or whatever. Age of consent Netherlands is the very first thing that comes up. Oh, 16. Since when? I thought it was always I thought it was 18. What the hell? Okay, now I'm more. Hang on, now I'm more interested in this. What the hell? I always thought it was I always thought it was 18. Up to which age is one regarded as a child and young person respectively? In the Netherlands, persons under the age of 18 are considered minors by law. Okay, yeah, there we go. I was about to have the biggest revelation ever. Like, what? From 18 years, people are considered adults. In Dutch youth policy, youth is generally defined as the age group of 0 to 25 years. Within this age group, the distinction is made between children, 0 to 12, young people, 12 to 18, and young adults, 18 to 25. In the Netherlands, the term youth is applied to children and young people from 0 up to 23 or 27, depending on the domain. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, gambling is 16 years or older. Unaccompanied children under 16 will not be allowed in nightclubs, bars, or casinos. Right? Visits public, that's for TV. Smoking, that's for 18. Yeah. I knew that. Smoking is for 18 or older. You have to show your ID if you want to buy cigarettes anywhere. Is it allowed for children/teens to go into internet cafes? What the fuck? When was this article published? Last century? Or last decade, I should say. I was looking for sex, guys. Oh, that's not in there. Why? What the fuck? That was a German. Hey, hang on. Why the hell am I reading this on this? This is a German. It's in English. It's an article about children and youth protection in the Netherlands in English on a website of the German government. What the fuck? All right. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to see. I wanted to look at the age of consent in Japan. Age of consent in Japan. Okay, the age of consent in Japan is 13. Okay. According to the current legal minimum age of consent in Japan is 13 years of age. Yeah. Penal Code of Japan, 1907, that's the year it was published, sets a national age of consent of 13. Article 176 stipulates a penalty of 6 months to 10 years of imprisonment for indecent acts committed upon males and females under the age of 13. And 3 years for sexual intercourse with females under the age of 13. In 2017, Article 177 was amended to specify vaginal, anal and oral intercourse and expanded to include all persons, male and female, under 13. Okay. That would be super weird, right? If you rape a fucking 12-year-old girl, you get in jail. But then if you rape a 12-year-old boy, then it's fine or whatever. Like, it's pretty deep. Okay, I mean, I'm glad that they specified it because it would be very strange if that's not there. But it is there now. Okay, so that's good. The amendment also increased the minimum prison sentence from 3 years to 5 years. Okay, should be longer, but okay. Several national and local laws further regulate adolescent sexual acts. The Anti-Prostitution Clause of the National Child Welfare Act forbids causing individuals under 18 to perform sexual acts through direct or indirect physical or psychological pressuring. Oh, what the hell? So after you are older than 18, you can physically and psychologically pressure anyone into non-consensual in otherwise consensual. Okay, it's still weird that after you're 18 it's suddenly fine to manipulate people into doing that, but okay, like, oh, as long as they say that they consent at the very end, it's fine. Right, anyway, 13. So technically, so that's okay, hang on a minute. Okay, so for 2 more years, does that mean that you are 16 right now and are becoming 18, you know, in 2 years to live on your own or whatever, so you can leave your house? Or does that mean no, she can't be 11. I don't believe it for a bit that she's supposed to be 11 here. Okay, so she is 16. But in Japan, I would technically be, if I wanted to, not that I want to, but if I wanted to, I could technically have sex with Natsuki if I wanted to, because she is 16. And the age of consent in Japan is 13, apparently. How fucking weird would that... I'm not even gonna say anything about that. Let's just go. Again, still, I'm just not... it's still so weird. It's still so fucking weird, because, again, she looks... Like I said, she looks 15 to me. Apparently she's 16, so, you know, like, she looks way too much of a child for me to ever have any romantic feelings for her. I mean, hang out, like, be friends in a group setting, sure. One-on-one time, and then actual romantic relationship, just big-ass no-no. Yuri, Sayori, Monika, yes. Well, Monika's a bit of a meh, but Yuri, Sayori, yes. But Monika, depends on the situation, whether she's a crazy bitch or not. Natsuki, just no. Friends to hang out in the literature club, definitely, all the way. Love it, fine, completely fine with it, but no one-on-one time. Or at least I would have some second thoughts about that, and definitely not a romantic interest in her at all. But I've made almost over 100 videos on Doki Doki, including all its mods, so I think you guys get the point right now, because I pretty much said that in I don't know how many episodes already. Sometimes he's so ridiculously strict, and other times he just doesn't care about what I do. We fight a lot, to say the least. I'm really sorry, Natsuki. I wish there was something I could do. You can't. I just have to put up with this crap until I move away to college. He's more than happy to send me as far away as possible if it means he doesn't have to see me anymore. He even hated the idea of having to give me an allowance. He just spends most of his time at home drinking beer in front of our TV. He's just so... That's okay, let's have a deep sigh. I just hope you get along with your parents, Mark. It's something I never got the chance to experience. I'd say they're fair for the most part. Natsuki lets out a slight chuckle. Well, it looks like they didn't do too bad with you. I'll be sure to tell them that next time I see them. They're not around? They're out in the countryside helping my grandparents out, apparently. Oh. I never met mine. Heck, I've only really known my dad for a good chunk of my life. What happened to your mom? Natsuki shuts her eyes as if she's trying to suppress her tears. It's fine. I'm sure that she's a great person and would be proud of who you are. I'd like to think that too. Anyways, I guess that's enough reminiscing about my messed up childhood. We should probably get back before Monika throws a major fit or something. I'd be more worried about Sayori calling me 100 times. Nah, I know what you mean. Let's go, Eric. With her manga in hand, Natsuki and I exit the classroom and head back to the literature club. During the walk back, Natsuki was in an unusually cheerful mood, smiling brightly as she took glances between me and the manga. Granted, I've seen Natsuki in a good mood plenty of times. This was different. This was different sides she was showing. What? This was different sides. Me caveman, no speaking words properly yet. What the fuck? This was a different side she was showing me. It's almost as if she just found out she won the lottery, or just found out that her cupcakes won first place in some contest. Still, I feel happy that we were able to find her manga. Given what she told me about her home situation, I probably helped her in more ways than one. In fact, just probably by befriending her, I've helped her out so much. I have no idea what her life was like before I met her, or if she's always had this tough exterior. But I've come to see lately that she isn't all that. She's really a sweet, kind and caring person. And recently I feel like she finally sees me the same way. I just hope that she feels the same way as I do about her. Mark, where are you going? Huh? You know, you just passed the club, right? What? I look back to see Natsuki smugly standing by the doors to the club room. How did I screw that up? I sigh as I walk back over to her. Natsuki then looks at me concerningly. You okay, Mark? You seriously look like you would have just kept going until you hit the wall. Yeah, I'm fine. Just been thinking a lot today. Is it about what I said earlier? I'd said a little more than that. Well, if you want to talk about it, I'm all ears. I mean, are you at least that much after your help today? You didn't owe me anything, Natsuki, don't worry about that. But I appreciate the offer. Hey, it's what I do. I think I have some good experience steering you in the right direction. Very funny. I roll my eyes as Natsuki chuckles to herself as she opens the door. Guess who found her manga? Everyone in the room turns their attention to me and Natsuki as she proudly shows off her manga to everyone to see. So that's why you two went out. I'll admit I was a little worried that you two might have left together. Oh, come on. We couldn't ditch you guys. So Yuri would have killed me. Yeah, because leaving unannounced is super mean, Mark. She's right, you two. Leaving unannounced is rather rude. Poor Monika was wondering if she needed to hold off the activity for you guys. Oh, well, sorry to keep you all waiting. Well, it was kind of an emergency that I got back that I got this back as soon as possible, so I'm not really sorry. Wow. It's alright, you two. NATSUKI, I'm glad you got your manga back. But just remember to keep better track of your things in the future. Oh, this is never leaving my side again. NATSUKI clutches her manga tighter for emphasis. And I owe Mark big time for helping me find it. Ah, it's nothing. I scratch the back of my head as I look off in embarrassment. It's the least I could do. Anyways, it's time to get started for today. Everyone take a seat. Everyone takes a seat at the front of the room by Monika. While grabbing a seat, I notice Yuri shooting me an agitated glance. I turn to ask what's wrong, but she quickly looks away before I get the chance to. Yuri isn't assuming something, is she? I sigh to myself as I turn my focus to Monika. Yeah, and now we're going to be reading literature together, yeah. Yeah, and before be sure make sure to hand your poems to Mark before if you haven't already. I think you just need your poems and NATSUKI's. Alright, let me get mine. Monika walks back to the front of the room. Well, everyone gets up and goes back to their respective areas. After a few moments, Monika returns to me with her poems in hand. Here you are, Mark. Monika smiles as she hands me her poems. I can promise you there is nothing unexpected in there. Monika slyly winks at me. Fuck you, Monika. Well, that's a relief. You both share a small laugh before the silence settles again. So I guess I'll leave you be and let you get NATSUKI's poems. Yeah, I'll talk to you later, Monika. Laters. I head toward the closet where NATSUKI seems to be shuffling through her belongings. As I get closer, I notice NATSUKI studying the cover of the manga that she mentioned earlier. Though once she sees me, she hastily puts it back in her bag. Mark, what's up? Oh, not much. Just came to get your poems. Oh shoot, I almost forgot. NATSUKI rummages through her bag again and pulls out her poems. There you go. That should be all of my beautiful poems. Well, I don't know if I'd call them beautiful, but NATSUKI gives me a dejected look, but knowing her, I can't tell if it's genuine or not. Finally, I feel her projected guilt overtake me. Okay, they're beautiful. I knew you'd agree with me. Well, they're pretty good. Maybe I'll read them over again while I'm laminating. Sounds like it'll be a time well spent, Mark. Yeah, I take it you're heading home now? NATSUKI solemnly looks down at the floor. Who knows what fun and adventures yours truly will go through tonight. Hey, look. If things ever get too bad over there, you can crash at my place for as long as you need to. Well, it's not really that bad, but I'll keep that in mind. NATSUKI solemnly looks down at the floor before cracking a quick joke. Maybe that way I can convince you to get a bigger blender. Well, maybe when my parents come back I'll talk to them about it. Just be safe, okay? Geez, you act like you're going away. Like I'm going away, I'm never coming back or something. I'll be fine, Mark. Okay. NATSUKI and I stand awkwardly by the closet, unsure of what to say next. Today we both really learned a lot about each other. Hey, I'll talk to you later, okay? Alright. Catch you later. Laters! Why does everybody keep saying that? NATSUKI shoots me one last smile as she waves goodbye to everyone before heading out of the club room. I head back to my seat and carefully stow away Monika and NATSUKI's poems. And then slump down into my seat. Even though NATSUKI told me not to worry, I still feel anxious for her. Maybe I'm just overreacting, but I really do hope she's not in any danger. That just add on to my already growing list of stress and worries. Suddenly feel a tap on my shoulder. I turn around to see Yuri standing right by me. Speaking of stress and worries. Hey Mark. Oh, hey Yuri, what's up? Nothing much, just wanted to see how you were doing. You look a little exhausted. Oh, I'm fine, it's just been a long day. Yeah, I know what you mean. You will have days where things just overwhelm us. You know, if you tried some aromatherapy, it'd be a great way to relieve your stress. I highly recommend it. Is there a specific bronze you use? I use of course. It's always jasmine with Yuri. Well, I have to look into getting I'll have to look into getting some, considering how the last few days have gone for me. Why? What's happened? Does it look like she knows I've read a poem? Though I don't think I could even really tell Yuri what's been going on with Sayori, much less Natsuki. It's things I really can't talk about. I see. Yuri dejectedly shuts her eyes. Well, maybe opening up a little bit wouldn't hurt. It's just more life stuff, if anything. How so? I guess it's just me figuring out what I want in my life, I guess. I don't know, I'm not having an existential crisis or anything, but it's just me figuring things out. I know what you mean, Mark. I mean, we all are trying to figure out what to do next. Though I guess I'm currently waiting to see what fate has in store for me. How so? Yuri nervously looks off. Even though I know what Yuri's going to say, I'm more curious in hearing how she'll say it. Well, we can just say that I've had my eyes on someone recently. Is that so? I try to ask as quizzically as I can, but it's hard for me to act innocently dumb when I already know the answer. Yeah, and I just took a chance recently and I'm waiting to find out if he feels the same. What? If he's feeling the same way, or if he feels the same way? Yuri then sweetly looks at me. I feel a drop of sweat trickle down the back of my neck as I try my hardest to not break my curious expression. Well, I hope it works out for you, Yuri. I mean, what guy wouldn't want to date you? That's true. In case for me, that would be true. As much as I'm trying to calm Yuri's nerves, I immediately regret phrasing it like that, especially since I know she's talking about me. I already screwed up majorly, and I haven't even decided what to do yet. Meanwhile, Yuri only blushes harder. Well, I'm not sure if he and I share mutual feelings. We haven't spent too much time together recently. He's kind of been hanging around someone else. I internally scream, "Ah!" I don't know how much longer I can keep this up. Well, I wish you the best, Yuri. But I think Sayori wants to head home now. But Monika says... What did Monika say? I can't go that... No, I can't go that far back. I don't know what Monika said. I think I have to go, Yuri. Why? So you can daydream about Natsuki again? Yuri's son yelling makes... Yeah. Why do we have to antagonize Yuri so much? Fucking hell. Yuri's son yelling nearly makes my heart jump out of my chest. I also see Monika and Sayori turn their heads in my direction as she says that. Oh, great. It seems you always have time to spend with Natsuki, and you certainly had no problem hugging her in the middle of the club room. So why all of a sudden, when I want to have a genuine conversation not involving literature, you seem to want to avoid me? I didn't do something wrong, did I? I'm so caught off by Yuri's anger, I barely know how to respond. No, Yuri, that's not the point. Look, if you want to be with Natsuki so badly, then go for her. Just don't make us be a spectator to it. Yuri goes back to the front of the room, picks up her stuff, and virtually storms out of the club room. All three of us are left dumbfounded. Mark, what happened? I just told her that I had to go, but she just blew up at me. Well, that's certainly unlike Yuri. Maybe this is a good time for us to head home. Yeah, I think there's nothing left to do anyways. Hopefully everything will be calmer between you two tomorrow. Yeah, I hope so too. Well, I have some work I need to do here, so you guys can head out. Thank you, Monika. No problem. So Yuri and I pack our bags and we silently exit the club room and start our commute home. And then we can skip this until we talk about Natsuki, I guess. I tried to think back to how I spent earlier helping Natsuki find her manga, which helped improve my mood a little, though I'm still worried about what she told me. I'm tempted to tell Sayori everything Natsuki told me, but I wouldn't want to risk spreading rumors. And I did make a promise to Natsuki not to tell anyone either. Not that Sayori's the gossip type anyways. I'm just worried that she'll tell. Or make me tell a teacher or the principal and things will escalate out of control from there. Mark, we're here. Huh? After Sayori derails my train of thought, I look over to see that we've already arrived at our houses. You know, if you didn't say something, that would have been the second time today I walked past where I was supposed to go. Wow, it looks like you had a pretty long day after all. Yeah, it really has been. Is everything okay? Okay, and then we can skip again. I really do think that I'm falling for Natsuki. Having spent the last 2 weeks getting to know her has truly been something. It's really amazing how far we've come in such a relatively short amount of time. At first I thought she hated me, but now it's like we've been friends for our whole lives. I even think I'm getting used to her teasing. And she's clearly able to deal with my quirks now as well. I didn't know at the time, but I didn't think we'd be able to get along as well as we do now, considering she wasn't all that welcoming when I first joined. But now that I know her, what she likes, and what she's like, almost everything I know about her makes sense. For the first time, I feel like I truly understand Natsuki. Why are Yuri so, like, what the fuck? Like, with Yuri, he was like, oh, Yuri is such a fucking mystery person. Like, I've just begun to scratch the surface, even though Yuri was pretty much just as open with me as Sayori is with me now. And, you know, like, the change is the same. Like, you know, they are open up to me a bit more. But, you know, like, Yuri showed me herself a lot more. Sayori showed me herself a lot more. But now with Natsuki, I mean, not Sayori. But now with Natsuki, this guy's like, yeah, I finally start to understand her. Now, you know, I'm finally starting to see the real Natsuki. But when Yuri did the exact same thing, then he was like, oh, she's such a mystery person. Like, what the fuck? She did the exact same thing that Natsuki has done right now. Just talk a little bit about her personal life. Like, the fuck? And then like, he's like, oh, Yuri is such a mystery person. And whoa, you know, I've barely begun to scratch the surface. And then Natsuki does the exact same stuff. And then he's like, yeah, I totally understand Natsuki now. Like, what the fuck? So weird. I know she just puts on the act to try to be taken seriously at school, but at home, who knows? After all, she only gave me a summary. Well, if I do know her, she's a strong person. I'm hopeful she won't need me to try to step in and help her resolve her home life. But I think Natsuki truly appreciates that there's someone out there who takes her seriously, who shares the same interests and hobbies as her, and who cares about her and her options, and doesn't take everything she does and says at face value, even if it's still a little hard to understand what she's doing at times. I always know she means well, and I've had a blast spending every moment I could around her. Her laugh, her smiles, she's never been boring to hang around. And I think she enjoys spending time around me too. It's almost like we're a perfect match, and I have a pretty good reason to believe she likes me back. For the past 2 days she's been hugging me, and each time it felt almost magical. All things considered, I do think I want to go for Natsuki, but the problem is, I know that in doing so, I'd be breaking Yuri's heart, and possibly causing Sayori even more anguish. I just don't know if the timing is right. Maybe once Sayori's in a better shape, and I feel like I have a proper way of rejecting Yuri, then maybe I can figure out... Like, what the... He's already, like, about rejecting Yuri. What the fuck? On Yuri's right, it was like, oh, I don't know. I still maybe have feelings for Natsuki, but I don't know. And he was automatically like, yeah, I don't care about Yuri. I just have to reject her in a normal way. Like, why is it so heavily direct? I really don't like that. I mean, fucking hell. You're supposed to be able to choose whatever you want to choose, but then... It's so different. Like, the game is heavily derailing you towards a certain character. When I was on Yuri's route, he was the entire time, he was like, oh, maybe I should go with Natsuki. Maybe there's something there. Like, the only reason why I'm not doing it is because that's a big risk or whatever, you know? but it may just work out, but it might not. So therefore, maybe I shouldn't do it. I should just stay with Yuri, even though he was genuinely getting feelings for Yuri, but he was about to fucking sweep that all under the rug, just on the off chance that maybe perhaps Natsuki would be a good match for him. And then now the other way around, where he's falling for Natsuki, he's completely ignoring Yuri. He's like, yeah, okay, I just need to reject that girl. Like, what? Why? What the fuck? Why do we have to praise Natsuki so much and then antagonize Yuri the whole time? What the hell? So stupid. It's a game about where you should where you make your choice, where it doesn't matter which one you choose. But in the end, you do get like a feeling like you made a good or bad choice. As in with Sayori, it was also a bit the same with where the guy was like, oh, Yuri is all, you know, even though I had spent 0 time around Yuri. And now with Natsuki, all of a sudden he's like, yeah, no, fuck that girl. Like, you know, like, what? What the hell? I mean, it's the way he's kind of like indirectly like punches you in the stomach to say like, oh, you've made a good choice, or you made a bad, like when you made a bad choice, or whatever. Like, that's what it feels like now. Like it punched me in the stomach when I chose Yuri, because I should have chosen Natsuki, because they were just like fucking putting Natsuki on a pedestal. Like, oh, the only reason why you're not choosing her is because you've been spending time with Yuri. But otherwise, it would work out perfectly fine. You're like putting her on like a fucking pedestal like that. But now on the other way around, when I'm on Natsuki's route, then they're just completely butchering Yuri. Like, oh yeah, she's weird. She's like, you know, you just need to reject her. Like, what the hell? Like, they don't do it the other way around. They don't, like, they only float your way towards Natsuki when you're on Yuri's route. And now that you're on Natsuki's route, it's like, oh yeah, Yuri has to be the antagonist, but nah. We all know Natsuki is the best girl. That's kind of what it feels like it's saying here, you know? Like, what the fuck? It's so weird. But then, like, you see, do I really need to wait for... He doesn't care. He doesn't care. Like, breaking Yuri's heart, fuck it. Just don't care. And on Yuri's route, he was constantly thinking, oh, Natsuki this, Natsuki that, or maybe. Even though I had 0 interaction with Natsuki on Yuri's route, I had more interaction with Yuri here on Natsuki's route than I had with Natsuki on Yuri's route. So technically, you should be more considerate towards Yuri rather than Natsuki. But here he completely butchers Yuri and completely dismisses her and how she feels and whatever. And then, but on Yuri's route, the game is constantly like fucking forcing me that I should have chosen Natsuki instead. Like, oh, ooh, I haven't made up my mind yet. Oh, maybe Natsuki is the perfect match for me. Ooh, this, Natsuki this, Natsuki that. It's so fucking weird. It's like, you're supposed to be able to choose whatever you want to choose, but then when you make a choice, the game is like, yeah, it's a fucking incorrect choice. And they punch you in the stomach like that, you know? Like, what? No, like, one way or the other way, make a fucking entire mod about Natsuki if you want to put her on a pedestal like that, but don't make it like an open, like branching way where you can choose whatever you want to choose, because it feels very off-putting where you're like doing it like that. Maybe I'm reading too much into this, I don't know. But I felt like in Blue Skies it was done a lot better, where when you were on that person's route, it did genuinely feel like you were on that person's route. When I was on Yuri's route in Blue Skies, it felt genuinely like it felt like a good story. I was involved, I was there, and we slowly started to develop more feelings for Yuri. It felt natural, and, you know, like... And of course, Yuri wanted to iron out her relationship with Natsuki, and we helped with that. And all that other stuff. So it all felt nice, complete, and also felt focused on Yuri. You know, Natsuki was there, Sayori was there, Monika was there, but it felt still like it was Yuri's story, and that felt nice. And it felt like, because I chose Yuri, because we were on Yuri's route, it felt that it went in that direction, and it was focused on that. Same with Sayori's route. You know, the only piece of critique was that it felt a bit shorter and that there were barely any choices. Same with Natsuki. Only point of critique was there suddenly it felt like there were more endings, which was a bit weird, while everybody else only had 2. Natsuki had 4 endings for some weird reason. And that big choice was a bit weird. That didn't make many. Was set up as like a ridiculously game-changing big point, changing choice, but it didn't change too much in the end. But even though there were things that I liked and didn't like, it felt like their story. It felt I was on Yuri's route when I was on Yuri's route. And, it felt like Yuri's story. The others were there, but it was Yuri's story. Same with Sayori's route. The others were there, but it was Sayori's story. Same with Natsuki's route. The others were there, but it was Natsuki's story. But here, they kind of like, it feels like, again, maybe I'm reading too much into it, I don't know. But here, it feels like they're hinting towards... I mean, they're not even hinting to Monika. I mean, I would expect that to be hinting towards Monika the entire time. Because, in this mod, Monika is still sentient and still wants to have her way. So it would make sense, and I wouldn't be having this rant of critique if that was the case, that the game would constantly be hinting towards Monika. Even, not just in the nightmares, but in these parts as well. Like, just Natsuki's route and then detour to Monika for no reason, no apparent reason. Like, huh? Why is that there? It felt like that's what I feel like should have been here, because when they just hint towards the other girls or don't hint to the other girls like they're doing here, where they just butcher Yuri and throw her under the bus for no reason. It just feels like I am on the wrong route. Like they allowed me to choose, but I have chosen incorrectly or correctly or whatever, like now that this is happening here, I feel like when I chose Yuri before, that was the incorrect choice, because they were like putting Natsuki on the pedestal, like, oh my god, you had zero interactions with her at all. The only thing you know from her is that she's constantly angry and annoyed by you the whole time. But who knows, maybe she loves you, maybe something funny, maybe something romantic could happen. Ooh, maybe. Well, I'm not sure. You're spending 24/7 with Yuri, but maybe Natsuki loves you, maybe you could fall for her. That was the entire fucking monologue. And now that I'm on Natsuki's route, it's like, yeah, fuck Yuri. She loves you, but who cares? You're on Natsuki's route. Good job. Like, that's what it feels. Like, I chose Yuri's route, but that was the incorrect choice. And they were, like, subtly stomping me in my stomach for choosing incorrectly. That's what it feels like now. Again, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it doesn't fit the fucking story. Like, when I'm on Yuri's route, I want to be on Yuri's route. I want to be having Yuri's story. I mean, this is a bit different because this is, of course, a mod where Monika still wants to have her way. So it's not like Blue Skies where, Monika plays along, essentially, and where it's just a regular story where I choose for the Yuri story. And, of course, that makes a bit more sense. But, it would make a lot more sense if the game was doing that hinting stuff, but they did with Natsuki, and also I believe they also did it with Yuri on Sayori's route, although that's been a little bit long ago, so I can't really remember too well, but it would make a lot more sense if they did that with Monika, where they were like constantly, I'm on Natsuki's route, and then I would constantly get weird dialogue about, oh, maybe Monika likes me, or maybe I should hang more out with Monika more. That would make totally more sense. Like, what the fuck? Why the hell do I have to be, like, subtly, I have to be subtly punished for choosing Yuri, because apparently Natsuki or Sayori is the correct choice or whatever. And then only in the nightmares is Monika trying to force her way into it. Wouldn't it make more sense that even in the dialogue on the normal day, you get, like, weird references to Monika all the time, or Monika acting in a way that she, that wink with, oh, nothing suspicious is in my stack of papers, haha, that was funny, but like, wouldn't there be a lot more of that stuff in here? Shouldn't there be a lot more stuff like that in here? I feel like that would have made this mod a bit better if that was the case. Like, the feeling that Monika's constantly looming over you, I mean, the guy has a weird feeling that Monika is not genuine when she smiles at you, even though she smiles the same all the time. So yeah, the guy knows that something's up. I mean, of course, you don't need to put two. It's pretty easy to put two and two together to realize that Monika's been causing the nightmares and stuff. But still, the player, at least for me, maybe other people haven't experienced this, but for me it doesn't feel too much like Monika is constantly looming over me. I feel like that would have been made a nice addition to this mod, since the mod is going with the story that Monika is once again trying to force her way onto me. Wouldn't it I feel like it would be better if, instead of fucking making me feel like I've chosen incorrectly or correctly with the girls, that I would have chosen incorrectly with Monika. But that's only happening in the nightmares. But it would be better if it also happened here, because now I'm getting all these mixed feelings about, oh yeah, Yuri and Sayori and but it would be better if there was like subtle hints to Monika in there, like, you know, like even during the day when there's no nightmare happening at all, it still feels like Monika's oppressing like web of lies, and you know how she pulls all the strings and stuff, how that's fucking meandering through the entire game, and how even on days where I don't have the nightmares, I still feel Monika looming over me while she still does various things. That would, if done right, I feel like that could give a very creepy feeling, and it could give would make for a great horror game, you know? Rebuilding my friendship with Sayori is going to take time either way. And well, I'd like to think we've established that we're going to remain friends, nothing more or less. Even though the possibility of going for more is still there. But I just don't think I have the same connection with Sayori like I do for Natsuki. Same goes for Yuri too, I guess. I mean, maybe I could give Yuri a chance and see if we have any real chemistry. Oh, here we go, here it is. I thought the times I've interacted with her, maybe it's just not there. Hey, what the fuck? On Yuri's right, he constantly gave the possibility, like, oh, maybe I can be with Natsuki. Maybe there is something there. But the only reason why he didn't do it in the end was because that was a bit too much of a risk, because I already had a good relationship with Yuri. That was the only reason why he didn't decide to switch to Natsuki randomly without my interference, you know? He almost would have done it on his own, but he didn't because it was too much of a risk, is what he said. But here he's even shooting down the possibility of hanging out with Yuri. Considering how Yuri tends to put a lot of emotion into things, I don't think she'd react too well if I rejected her. Picking two hearts wouldn't exactly sit well with my subconscious. But if I do go for Yuri, then Natsuki would be left out. Basically, no matter what I do, if one of them gets chosen, the other gets the heartbreak. Yeah, no shit. And I don't know if I'm ready to do that again. As I pull my phone and scroll through my picture gallery. As I'm scrolling, I come across some pictures I took with Natsuki at the festival. Looking back at some of the photos, I see just how happy we looked doing all these silly poses throughout the festival. It's funny how most of these photos were her idea. I scrolled to the last photo, which is us standing by the entrance to the school and at the end of the festival. I noticed just how close together we are in this photo, with her even wrapping her arm around me. Huh? I guess we would make a good couple. Suddenly my phone begins ringing. And to my surprise, it's Natsuki! Why is she calling me? I just hope something didn't happen. Answer the phone. And there I'll end it off. Hope you always enjoyed the video. Click the like button if you did. Subscribe to join the Roman army, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later, Romans. Walete.